We go, amazing. So today we're going to be playing around with some shoulder mobility, shoulder stability. There's some things that we've played around with over our last few weeks together, and then some new movements as well. So I've asked everyone to get a book, ideally quite a hefty book, something that's got a little bit of weight to it, rather than a block, because we need to have that resistance there. Blocks are too light and we just end up kind of throwing them up. I have gone with the Beastie Boys today. Excellent weight book, but also a good read as well. I believe we've got a Winston Churchill memoir, and we've got some other books amongst us as well. So as always, we're going to be starting standing up. I love starting standing up because it gives us an immediate bit of feedback into what's happening in our feet, where our weight is in our body. If we're leaning forwards, if we're leaning back, we're able to get into all those little nooks and crannies. So we're just starting with that, lifting up onto the balls of the feet, back down onto the heels, just finding that roll through. You might be able to sense feedback on one side compared to the other. I did my first aerial hoop class, oh my goodness, for a good few months. And I can really feel it in my calves today. It's funny, you kind of think you're using your shoulders, but actually you're, different parts of your body working harder than others. And then we're going to come to the inside and outside arch of the feet. Again, my knees are quite soft here. You'll notice if your legs are straight and you're doing that, it's a very different feel than if your knees are soft. You're getting much more into your feet if your knees are soft than if your legs are straight. Really nice. Let's draw a few little semicircles. So semicircling forwards in one direction and into the other. Like you're coming from the ball of the big toe and in the ball of the little toe. Nice. Let's get into some spinal articulation. So chin to the chest, and then see if you can move down as with the spine in order as much as possible. So rather than just folding, is that rolling down bone by bone. Knees can stay soft. We're not going for straight legs here. Come to wherever you get to. Doesn't matter how far down that is. And then once you've got to your furthest point, rolling back up bone by bone, restacking the spine. Let's go for another couple. So chin to the chest, shoulders, mid-back, ribs, lower back, and then restacking in order. Again, knees can be soft. So really softening into the legs so that we're not getting into the hamstrings. And then last one, chin to the chest. This time we're going to end up lying down on the floor. Take your time. Nice. And then finding a supported supine position, back onto the ground, feet onto the floor, hips down as well. I'm just going to slightly reposition so that you guys can see a little bit better on the floor. Magic. So to begin with, feet about hip distance apart, I'm going to drop my knees to one direction and then back into the center and the knees to the other direction. So all of our spinal articulation, we're sending the spine in as many different directions as we can. Nice. So we've done our side to side, this time pressing feet onto the ground. As we breathe out, lower back presses into the ground. Tiny, tiny tilt. Breathing in back into neutral. Breathing out, lower back pressing into the ground. You can bring your hands onto your hips so you can get that sense a little bit more into your body. Tiny, tiny tilt, lower back into the ground. Breathing in back into neutral. Listen for the change this time. Breathing out, lower back into the ground, and then rolling up towards the shoulders. And then see if you can roll the spine down in order. So another few of those, lower back pressing into the ground. Find your mid, lower back, mid back, upper back, shoulders, and then shoulders, mid back, lower ribs, lower back, and hips. Nice. One more like that, rolling through the spine to come up, moving the spine in order, and then rolling back down. Spine moves in order. Really good. Let's bring hands onto the knees as you breathe out. Knees in, breathing in, knees out. Breathe out, knees in, breathe in, knees out. So thinking about fitting the shapes around the breath. If you breathe in as you draw the knees in, you're going to squash that breath. Whereas if you breathe in, as you bring the knees away, you got space for it. Breathing out, knees in, breathing in, knees out. Good job. Let's bring both legs long, straighten both legs, arms above the head. Reach your right hand away from your right foot, find that stretch through the right side of the body, and then do the same on the other side. Left hand away from left foot. Tiny, tiny tilt. You're able to feel your hips kind of shifting. Reach through the right side, and then reach through the left side. Awesome. We're going to make our way up to seated. So you can do this by rolling to the side or hands behind the thighs, rounding into the back of the body, and we can use this like a mini massage. Either way, it doesn't matter which one you choose. We're going to end up in the same position, which is an upright position. Perfect. So take your time to come up into an upright position. Really doesn't matter what happens with the legs that here, we're still going to be working into the spine. So if you don't have a tendency to sit cross-legged when you go around to see your friends, you don't need to do that here. Let's keep that focus onto the spine. So one hand down, doesn't matter which one, reach up and then reach over. So again, rather than trying to squash down, really press into that bottom arm. Nice. Breathing in, back into the middle. Press into the bottom hand to send the ribs diagonally up to the sky. Good. Let's go for another couple. Lovely. Really good, guys. Awesome. Underrated shape of the day. So if you're feeling a bit tired, if the heat that we've been having recently has been getting to you, it's a really good way just to quickly energize. There's a reason why when we are tired, we tend to kind of make these sorts of shapes when we yawn. Awesome. Let's go for some spirals. Now, I always try to say spirals rather than twists, because if I say twist in my body, I move my shoulders and I forget about the rest of my spine. So if I find a spiral, I lift up, turn my ribs to the side, and then the hands can come down. Nice. And I'm getting more into the spine. Good. Breathing into the middle and breathing out. Turn the ribs to the other side. Let's keep on going there. Let's do one more on each side. Breathing into lift. Turn the ribs and then see where the hands get to. Good job. Breathing into the middle, turn the ribs and then see where the hands get to. Awesome. Last movement available to us in our spine is this forwards and backwards one. We're going to play with that. So rounding into the back of the body and then breathing in to draw the heart forwards and breathing out to round back and then breathing in to come forwards. Nice. Good job. Last one. Breathing out and then breathing in. Perfect. From here, coming into all fours, spread the fingers wide, knees underneath the hips. If the hands need to be a bit further forwards, fantastic. If for any reason your wrists are feeling uncomfortable, forearms or fists can be a really nice option here as well. Let's find that movement into the spine again. But again, rather than just kind of dropping and hinging, we're going to see if we can move through the spine. So start with the lower back first. So lower back scoops down. Find your lower ribs, the middle of the ribs and the shoulders, and then drop the head down, and then see if you can reverse that in order. So tailbone lifts, lower ribs start to join in, find the midribs, find the shoulders, and then the head can come up. So we're really slowing that movement down. Lower back scoops down, lower ribs, midribs, shoulders, and then tailbone. If you're finding it hard, that's because it is hard. This is really hard stuff. We're not used to moving our spine in this controlled way. When we're not used to doing it, it just moves as a block. So this is literally spinal articulation. We're seeing if we can find that independent movement of the different parts of the spine. Because when we don't use it, we lose it. We lose that ability to find that isolated movement. Really nice. Awesome. So let's start to bring hips. So any discomfort into the knees, ankles or hips, you can stay like this in this kind of box position. If it feels okay, you can bring your hips back. Either is awesome, but we're going to start to walk both hands over towards one side. So if your hips are staying high, you're going to walk both hands over to one side. If your hips are coming back, it will look more like this. Either is awesome. Nice. And then whatever position we're in, we're going to walk the hands to the other side. See if you can walk. So if my hands are to my left, I'm walking my right fingers a little bit further away and drawing the right hip back. So I'm really accentuating that space through the side of the body. And then let's go for one more on each side. So over to that first side, send the fingertips a little bit further away as you draw the hip back. And then over to that second side, fingertips walk away, send the hips back a little bit. Nice. And then coming back into the center. Well done, team. Good. Let's tuck the toes under, bring the knees to a hover. Oh, hello. And then start to press the hips high. Really keep that bend into the knees, belly towards the thighs. So finding length through the spine rather than the hamstrings. And then we can bring one heel down and then bring the other heel down. Start to pedal through the legs. So this is our downward dog, but we're walking the dog. Just gently walking out through the backs of the legs. Hello, calves. How are you? Using it as an opportunity to check in with our body and how we're feeling here today. Perfect. Let's start to walk the feet towards the top of the mat, our imaginary mat. And then we're going to roll through the spine, restacking. Awesome. Circle the shoulders. Really good. We're going to get into some of that mobility before we get into stability. So this is where we're going to get our book. And we want our book to have a little bit of a heft to it, because if I use a brick, it's going to be way too light. It's not really, I'm not getting that same sensation in my muscles here. So see if you can have your hand flat. So what I'm not doing, if you can see, I'm seeing if I can minimize gripping onto the sides. So my palm is flat rather than sneaky gripping. And then I'm going to stand up nice and tall, elbow glues into the ribs, and then start to send that arm out to the side and then back in towards the center. So elbow's kind of staying where it is, arm comes out and then back. Nice. Good. So when we've got a heavier book here, it's going to give us a lot more awareness about what's happening. If you have a lighter book or a lighter weight here, it's much easier to kind of do hoiking. We don't want to have any hoiking here. Nice. When we've just about got our head around that, we're going to see if we can start to get out of the way. So bring the book out to the side, and then this time, draw a little circle with it. Nice. Keep the palm flat. So this is where we might start to see some books moving. So I'm drawing a circle in one direction. Yeah, and a circle in the other. Well done, guys. Perfect. Moving to negotiate around that. Keep the palm flat if you can. Awesome. So we've got a circle at the bottom here. We're going to see if we can add a circle at the top. So as I bring my arm up, I'm doing a circle at the top and then a circle at the bottom. Keeping the palm flat, keep it slow, take your time. So the more that you speed up here, the harder this gets. Now what we're doing here is we're making a figure of 8. So making a figure of 8, but we're also getting into the full range of movement in the shoulders. Nice. Option. So I've got my book in my right hand. Doesn't matter if you've got yours in your right hand or your left hand, but you're going to see if you can drop towards that same side knee as you make your figures of 8. And you can keep moving out the way. Nice. Amazing. Awesome. Maybe that other knee comes down, perhaps. Maybe we come to kneeling. Each one adds a new level of challenge as your body goes, okay, I'm getting used to this, and then suddenly it's got to negotiate new information. It's possible to come down onto the floor. Nice, but I'm going to make my way back up. So I'm stepping the opposite foot, so I've still got lots of space to move. And then I'm going to come back up to standing. Nice, well done, guys. Now I'm going to bring my book into my other hand. And just notice how that feels, in my case, on my right side of my body. So that's where it can be good to close your eyes because you get rid of some of the distractions there. Okay, how's that feeling? Nice. So now that my book's in my other side, I can glue that elbow in. I'm going to guide the book out to the side and then back towards my belly. Like I'm serving a platter of whatever's going to motivate you. It could be Pimm's, it could be Prosecco, it could be some really tasty little cupcakes. You can see where my brain's going. I need some pudding. Nice. Whatever's going to give you the motivation to keep it as steady as you can. Oh, hello, lovely little dog. Are you getting excited? It's like, oh, it's playtime. We're doing that thing with the book. Nice. And then we're going to see if we can start to make a circle. So circling out of the way. Now this is my left hand, so I'm not left-handed. So this is going to be a new negotiation. So to begin with, I'm definitely keeping it quite slow. I'm checking in to see if my palm is flat rather than gripping onto the sides. It's a nice thing about the Beastie Boys book. It's a nice surface area. It's quite big, quite weighty. Nice. Good. Once you've got the hang of that circle, yeah, you got it. The next option is to add that circle at the top and then circle at the bottom. So you're now layering in those two circles. And again, this side may feel quite different than the other. So having that negotiation. Yeah, good job. Awesome. Now, same side leg can come down, option, rather than Esther says. So starting to find that circle up and then down, circling up and then down. Nice. Good. Maybe the other knee comes down, perhaps. Yeah, amazing. Maybe the hip comes down. Awesome. And then we can start to layer it back up. Nice. Super strong through that front foot to come all the way. Amazing. So now I can say, oh my goodness, thank you so much, Beastie Boys book. I'm sure that's exactly what I'm supposed to do with that book. And notice how you feel in your shoulders. So the reason why we're playing with shoulders massively affect how we breathe, and how we breathe hugely affects how we feel, our energy levels, our stamina, how we hold ourselves, how our core feels as well. So there's so much value in playing with our shoulders. So from here, we're going to find our standing position and we're going to draw the shoulder blades towards one another, like you're squeezing a juicy orange between the shoulder blades, and then just come back into neutral. So it's quite a small movement, squeeze the shoulder blades together. So what I'm not doing is really kind of drawing that back. I'm seeing if the rest of my body can stay where it is, squeezing shoulder blades together. I'm going to come a little bit closer to the camera so you can see. Squeeze shoulder blades and then back. And then squeeze the shoulder blades. So again, I'm not kind of sticking my chest out. I'm seeing if I can just slide my shoulder blades towards one another and then back, nice. And then last one, drawing the shoulder blades towards one another and then back, good job. Let's come back down onto our lying position. So we're going to be lying on our back, soles of the feet to the floor, and reaching the arms above the head. Nice. So there's lots of shoulder positions that we can play with, and you'll feel the difference. The ground is brilliant to be able to feel that difference as well. So to begin with, see if you can keep your arms straight and slide the shoulders up towards the ears and then slide the shoulder blades down. So lifting shoulders up towards the ears, keep the arms straight, squeeze shoulder blades down. I'm going to go for another couple, lifting shoulder blades up and then sliding them down. Nice. Now come into more of a Y shape. So we were here, now we're bringing the arms out, kind of doing like a less musical version of YMCA. So we're doing a Y shape, slide the shoulder blades up, and then plugging them back in. You'll feel slightly different muscles working here. Slide the fingertips away, making that Y shape, and then sliding them into the back of the body. Nice, last one. Sliding them away, and then drawing them back. Good. This time, hands out to the side. Nice. So, with the hands out to the side, we're going to turn the palms down and then turn the palms up. So it's quite a small movement. Turn the palms down and then turn the palms up. So I think head, shoulders, knees and toes has got a lot to answer for. We tend to think of our shoulders as being these things that hang out underneath our ears. When we're playing with movements like this, you get much more of a sense of how the shoulders come onto the back of the body. And then actually these are the lats into the side of the body. So as we're drawing the hand down, press down into the hands and then turn the backs of the hands onto the floor and press into them. Feel how the back of the body is starting to engage here. So if we're thinking about this space, this is where we breathe into. This is where our core starts to connect into as well. So if we're able to find that space, mobility, strength into the shoulders, that's going to affect our core and that's going to affect our breath, which in turn will affect our lower back and our hips. It's all connected. Really nice. This time, feet can come a little bit closer in towards the hips. Palms face down next to the hips. And we're going to press up into our bridge position here. Nice. See if you can hold that for a few breaths. If you can feel that more into your hamstrings, backs of the thighs, walk your feet a little bit closer. But see if you can press the backs of the hand, press the palms of the hands, sorry, into the ground as well. So getting that sense of connection, not just into the hips, but up into the shoulders. So we're not trying to get as weird and back bendy as we can. The hips are going to stay kind of in line with the ribs. Nice. Find another breath here. Good. And then see if you can roll down. So find that roll down bone by bone. Awesome. We're going to do a bit of a funny one here. So see if you can lie to roll on your side. I'm lying on my, going to lie on my belly, in fact. So I'm lying on my belly, but I'm going to bring my right arm out to the side. For a moment, I'm going to sit up so that you can see the angle that I'm talking about. But we're going to do this on the belly. So I'm going to have my right arm out to the side at a 90-degree angle and then slide it up to about kind of 2 o'clock on the clock face. So it's not kind of right up here, up towards my ear. It's not out to the side. It's kind of just in the middle. And I'm going to do that lying down. So instead of being here, it's kind of out to about 2 o'clock. So I'm lying on my belly, my right arm out to the side and then to about 2 o'clock. Now from here, I'm going to come onto my left fingertips. So left fingertips come onto the floor next to me. And I'm going to roll and draw my knees up towards my chest. Nice. So again, I'll do that on the other side in case you're thinking, what on earth are you going on about, Esther? So my right arm is out, sliding up to about 2 o'clock, left fingertips in front of me, and rolling so that my both knees are to the side. Awesome. So what I sometimes see when we do this is to negotiate that, people go, oh, I'm going to straighten my arm. Please keep your arm at that kind of 2 o'clock angle. We should be feeling quite a strong stretch across the front of the pectoral muscles. This is right up into the top of that right shoulder. We're never looking for sharp, spicy, hot, any discomfort. We're looking for a kind of, oh, hello, good evening, right shoulder kind of conversation here. Nice. And let's see if we can breathe at the same time. Oh my goodness, so much to think about. Awesome. Last one. Good. And then we'll come onto that on the other side. So straightening both legs out. Left arm out at that kind of weird right angle, cactus shape. Slide it up to about 10 o'clock on the clock face. Right fingertips in front of you. And then roll to lie on your side. Again, I feel antisocial doing it in that direction, so I'm going to join you over here. Notice if your arm has kind of slid up to more of a straight position. Nice. You can keep your head down, you can keep your head up, it doesn't matter. And we're never looking to push through pain. Always looking to listen in. So if you need to ease off a little bit, you don't need to roll up quite as high. I think I've mentioned before, I'm a little bit hypermobile, so my body can come into some quite weird positions. So listen to where your body gets to. Nice. And then when you're ready, straighten both legs. Hands can come back. Awesome. So from here, we're going to find arms reach up. Good. And then hands down and coming out to the side. Nice. Make a T shape. Really nice. So what I'm doing is, so see if you can do this without engaging the shoulders. So move the arms up, move the hands down, hands out to the side. I can feel myself getting a little bit fatigued there. I'm going to see if instead I can get these muscles to be holding me. There's a very, very different sensation when we're using these. So as if you're drawing the shoulder blades back, let's lift the arms up. Nice. Draw the hands down. Keep that awareness into like the space between the shoulder blades. Come out to a T shape. Yeah, good. Nice. We're going to have one arm up, one arm down. Again, coming from the middle of the back rather than from the fingertips. And then out to the other side. Good. Nice. Really good. And then coming back into the center, let's slide the shoulders down. We're going to play around with that stability a little bit more. This is something that we've explored before, but it's so, so helpful. I think some people kind of look to stretch into this place, and actually, if you're able to stabilize into it, it's going to help you have this muscular support to hold you there rather than just stretching, stretching, stretching. So you can either have I've got my right arm forwards, left hand can either come to your armpit, or it can come to find fingertips to the back of that shoulder blade. Either's fine. Let's slide the shoulder forwards and then slide it back. So my arm's staying straight here. Slide it forwards, slide it back. So what I'm not doing is twisting the rest of my body to be able to do this. This is just these muscles here, sliding the arm forwards, sliding it back, slide it forwards, slide it back. Tiny, tiny movement. Nice. Now I'm going to see if I can start to imagine it like a little bit of a train piston, circle it, reach forwards and then draw a circle to draw it back. So we're essentially doing shoulder cars. Nice. So what I'm not doing, so I'm coming forwards rather than doing that. So it's a forwards circle. Yeah. Again, see if you can keep your arms straight. So notice if your arm goes, oh yeah, I'll do that instead. It's different muscles. Awesome. Let's do that on the other side. Hand underneath the arm or fingertips to the shoulder blades. Slide forwards and back. Arms straight, slide forwards and back. Let's go for a couple more. Nice. Notice if you're trying to twist to be able to do this. It's a really small movement, not looking for kind of big Instagram stuff. Good. And then we're going to find circles coming forwards. Keep it slow. So it's a circle forwards rather than side to side here. Arm stays straight. If you're finding it a bit weird, it is a bit weird. And that's totally normal. Yeah, good job. Nice. Nice, Claire. Awesome. We're going to do the same in all fours. So hands can come down, knees can come back. Spread the fingers wide. Again, it's possible to do this on the fists if your wrists feel uncomfortable. To begin with, so again, really notice here, because often what happens is in our body, other parts take over. So rather than just kind of dropping into the ribs, see if you can squeeze the shoulder blades away from one another and then squeeze shoulder blades towards one another. The ribs, the hips kind of stay where they are. They're just hanging out. Squeeze shoulder blades towards one another, arms stay straight. Squeeze them away from one another. Tiny, tiny movement. Good. Notice if your head is taking over. Sometimes our head goes, it's okay, I'll do that instead. And we end up doing a bit of a weird chicken head. We're not looking for chicken head here. Yeah, good. Let's see if we can draw little circles. Again, this can be really hard. So if doing the forwards and backwards movement is where you're at today, fantastic. This stuff takes time to kind of program in. We're literally firing up new neural pathways. This is unlike other movements that we do day to day, which is why it's so hard. Nice. Another option to explore is to do this in a plank. Shoulder blades towards one another, shoulder blades back. So again, what we're not doing is head or hips or elbows. We're seeing if we can squeeze shoulder blades and then back, squeezing shoulder blades and back. Knees down is a fantastic option as well. Nice. Good. Are we able to do this and still breathe? Maybe, maybe. Good. Another option is to find the circles here. It is hard. So if you're finding it hard, your brain is doing exactly what it's supposed to. Good. Last one. Brilliant. It's also possible to do it in downward dog, but our wrists are going to take a bit of a break here. And we go, oh my goodness, wrist, thank you so much, you're the best. And we're going to come into some more functional standing positions here. So let's come up into standing. Well done, folks. Lovely. So let's find hands towards the hips. And we're going to lean forward. So the knees can stay soft here. My hamstrings are quite loud here. So if I come straight into it, my hamstrings are going to go, oh, hello. So if I keep my knees soft, I can lean forwards a little bit more. Nice. And then bring the hands down towards the ground and step both feet back. Good. Knees can come down, all the knees can stay up. And we're going to come down onto the belly. Good. Wherever we've got to, forearms can come forwards. So we're finding that lift into the chest with the forearms down rather than just kind of pressing up into the lower back. Good. Hands back towards the shoulders. You can do this with the knees down, so it can be a lovely little roll through into our downward dog, or you can press back up and then come into downward dog. Either is awesome. And then let's walk the dog, so pedal out through the legs. Brilliant. We're going to make our way. So you can either find as many steps as you possibly can, or you can take a big jump or a walk or a step to bring the hands towards the feet. Please bring your hands to your shins and look forward. So again, we're finding that length through the spine here, and then hands can come down. And we're going to bring the hands to the hips to come back into that first position that we were in. Good. And then easing back up. Fantastic. Let's go for that again. Hands to the hips, soft through the knees, as if you're trying to reach your head away from your hips. And then bring the hands down and the feet back. Good. Knees down is an awesome option as well. We're going to end up with the belly on the floor, and then the forearms can come forwards. So you can see my elbows are in front of my shoulders, so I've got lots of space for my lower back here as well, which is nice. Good. Make your way towards your downward dog. So again, you can do that by a child's pose. That can be really nice. Or if you're feeling like you need a bit more feist in your life, then you can do that by a plank. Either way, we're ending up in the same position, just pedaling through the legs. And then we can step, we can walk, we can jump. If you're going to jump, little tip, look at the hands, bend into the knees, and then come forwards. Yeah, where you look is where you end up. The same as snowboarding. Hands to the hips, crown of the head away from the hips, and then rising all the way up. Awesome, team. Let's find a little bit more. So I'm going to step my right leg all the way back. Good. So I'm not in like a super big lungy shape. Got a little bit of space. Looking down at my knees, turning the thighs up towards the ceiling a little bit, so I've got that nice external rotation. So as I breathe in, I can lift up, and as I breathe out, sink the weight down. Yeah, good job. Let's go for one more. Breathing in to straighten, breathing out, easing down. Nice. My right toes point out in one direction, left toes stay in line, reaching forwards as far as I can, and then bring the hand down. Keep that top hand lifted, or you can bring the hand to the lower back. So I can feel that on the outside of that left hip. Really nice. Let's bend into the right knee, either elbow to the knee, or if you want it to be more feisty, you can bring your hand away. Either is awesome. Option to bring that top arm up. So it's like I'm trying to find a straight line from the fingertips to that back heel. Good. From here, I'm going to pivot on that back heel, lifting it so I'm now facing in the other direction. Brilliant. From here, hands towards the shoulders, bending that back knee, and then super strong to come out. So I'm finding that engagement through the glutes, easing back knee down, super strong to come up. Good. Last one. Perfect. This time I'm going to go for my power lunge. So reaching both hands diagonally away from that back heel, draw the back heel down, belly away from the thighs. Fantastic. Hands coming into the chest. I'm going to twist towards my knee. Elbow can come towards the knee and I can use that like a lever, or I can bring my hands towards my lower back and the thigh. Wherever I've got to, that back foot is going to join me. And I find like a little chair, and then I lift all the way back up. Brilliant. Let's do that again. This time it's my left foot that steps back nice and wide, coming into my goddess stance. Breathing in, lifting up. Breathing out, sinking down. Yeah. Let's go for one more. Breathing in, lifting up. Breathing out, down. Awesome. Left toes now point out to the top. Right foot pivots so that I've got my, so it's diagonally across. Straighten both legs, reach forwards as far as you can, and then start to bring that hand down. So I'm not trying to get down as far as I can, and then rounding is about a twist. Yeah, good. Let's bend into that front knee. Again, elbow can come there, or you can bring it into any kind of other weird angle. Top hand reaching away from the back foot. Really nice. Back foot now is going to lift up. Nice. You're finding a lunge. Hands towards opposite shoulders. And we dip down. And then super strong to come back up. Engage through the glutes. Dipping down. Super strong to come back up. Nice. Last one. Find that dip down. Yeah, that's it. Good job, guys. This time going for that power lunge. So pressing both hands actively away from that back foot. Draw that back heel away. Belly away from the thighs. Fantastic. Hands into the chest. Front elbow. So in my case, my right elbow comes towards the front knee, left knee, or you can bring your hand to your lower back. Awesome. Back foot steps in and find that seated twist. Brilliant. And then we rise all the way back up. Fantastic. Let's find that little lift up into the toes, lifting onto the balls of the feet, back down onto the heels. Go for one more, lifting up and then easing down. Perfect. From here, let's come into a seated position, guys. So we're going to end up on the floor. You want to be sat on a brick or indeed onto your book. It's going to give your hips a little bit more space. I'm sure this is what the Beastie Boys had in mind when they published this book. We can have the soles of the feet together and we're just going to butterfly into the knees. There is so much that happens in our hips. And so it's not about, oh my goodness, I must make that position. My husband, for example, when he does this, his knees are right up here. And that's perfect. He does a lot of mountain biking. So of course, those muscles are going to be going exactly where they've been trained to go. We're just finding movement here though. Good. And then let's start to draw. I'm bringing my right leg out to the side, left foot in towards that right leg. Perfect. From here, right hand can come onto the straight leg, left hand towards the lower back. So again, I'm getting that idea of that twist rather than a fold. So I'm twisting towards the bent knee, and then I'm going to see if I can draw my head away from the hip. So it's quite a subtle little shift. As I find that subtle little shift, I can start to feel this muscle into the lower back start to say hello. So rather than folding down and losing the twist, it's like I'm drawing my head diagonally away from my hips. Option for the hand to stay down, option to lift that arm up. Neither is better. Again, listen to where your body needs to go. Good, but see if you can keep that top shoulder up. So sometimes what happens is we then start to drop the shoulder down. Nice, and then slowly bringing it all the way back around. Let's do that on the other side. So swapping the legs round, right foot in towards left leg, left hand onto the straight leg, right hand towards the lower back. And we're really seeing if we can draw the ribs towards the bent knee. Nice. Then see if you can draw your head away from the hips. Yeah, so it's like a diagonal lean rather than trying to fold down. It's not about trying to get to a certain point on that straight leg. It's not trying to reach your toes. You're fine. Maybe the arm lifts. Maybe it comes over the head. But again, are you doing that at the cost of that twist? We should be able to feel that down towards the side of the lower back. This is our quadratus lumborum. It's a really sneaky little muscle that can be quite hard to get into. So it's a great way of getting into that. And then take your time to come back up into the center. Good job, guys. Let's bring the feet wide. Again, you can have the knees bent. It's going to be quite strong onto the hamstrings. If you want to have the knees bent, that's fantastic. We're just going to circle round. Drawing a circle in one direction. Nice. And then a few circles in the other direction. Good. Awesome, team. Beautiful. Let's find a little bit of a point and a flex into the toes. So again, every time that we're finding movement into the soles of the feet, that's going to affect our plantar fascia. You'll be able to feel the calves, the hamstrings, which means that the lower back and the shoulders, all the way up onto the forehead, in fact, are being affected here. We can draw a little circle around. Brilliant, guys. We've played a lot with the posterior chain today. So posterior chain, particularly into the shoulders. I'm going to stop the recording now. And if you've got any questions, then please do feel free to ask away.